think it's time that we rewind a little bit. Before we jump into the ideal relationship, it's really important to start at the beginning. The pre-stage of readiness for your ideal relationship is going to be developing your ideal self. And this can be kind of a scary thing to confront or confusing. You might feel lost. What does that mean? What is my ideal self? Who is my ideal self? So I want to break it down a little bit and make sure that you have a clearer picture of what you need to do in order to prepare and attract your ideal relationship. So there are a lot of things that are in your control. There are a lot of things that are not. Like finding that partner, for the most part, is not something that you can order online or get delivered to you at a timeline that you prefer. But what you do control is the growth and self-study, the work that you do in order to become your ideal self. So in psychology, there's a concept where they compare and contrast your real self, which is who you are right now, to your ideal self, which is who you're becoming, who you're striving to be, who you're working towards, and that should not be someone very, very different than who you are now, your real self. The goal is to merge the two and to let them be as close to each other as possible. So you want to be obviously genuine and authentic, but you want to be able to improve on your flaws, your weaknesses. You want to just be able to refine yourself, right? And that's not necessarily a destination. So it's a horizon and it's a journey that you're going to be working towards all the time, always. You can never get complacent. So in order to have that attitude, you're adopting a growth mindset about yourself. So there are lots of ways that you can improve yourself, right? Like there's many, many, many areas that you could focus on. So it can be a little bit overwhelming. What I like to do is a self-inventory with clients. So look at your strengths and weaknesses. I call them assets and liabilities sometimes. So if you look at what you're strong at and what you're not so strong at, that could use improvement, specific to the value that you would bring to a relationship. That's a good place to start because we're talking about relationships. But overall, in general, we want you to be the ideal person, the ideal self that you want to be. But in the context of relationships, what makes an ideal partner, right? Like what type of person in general? There are going to be some guiding principles that will inform you of what that requires, right? So obviously there's going to be loyalty, commitment, trust, good communication, conflict resolution skills, problem solving skills, also having a growth mindset so that you can be flexible and adjust and adapt along the way. If you're together forever, you can't be a stagnant, complacent person. But you're also very forgiving and you're very kind and thoughtful, right? Like you're going to be someone who cares about the other person, the family. You're going to be a hard worker. There's lots and lots of qualities that we can list that bring value or that you could bring as a value to the relationship, depending on whether you're a man or a woman. It's going to be a little bit different. But as a woman, right, like you want definitely to be a good mother. You want to be a good homemaker, someone who can help guide and nurture your children. Basically, you want to be able to comfort your partner and to be able to be his biggest cheerleader, and not just the domestic things, but also intellectually and as like a companion. Like you want to be able to support and nurture, I call it sharpen each other by providing feedback and being open to that feedback and also receptive to feedback yourself. But you want to be healthy. That's probably the most important thing ever. And I emphasize this on all of my different platforms and mediums of content. So you have to establish yourself as healthy, and that means mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, all of those things. And so once you're able to establish that health holistically, then then you can probably have the self-awareness to identify your weaknesses that you need to work on in order to prepare for that ideal relationship that's coming your way. So these are just some examples of what you can do to approach that ideal self and feel like you're taking active participation in this process. And the more refined you are in yourself, in establishing that healthy, happy equilibrium uh, towards that self actualized ideal self, the easier it's going to be to wade through the experiences of meeting people and vetting them, knowing who's going to make your ideal partner. So, I hope that was helpful to you. Feel free to comment below or reach out to me and request your 15-minute discovery call. Or you can jump on my newsletter, which is just $1.99 a month for once a week newsletters. And it also provides you with once a week email correspondence via coaching on the ideal relationship system. So I will talk to you soon. Ciao.